Wow. Look at that French roll, will you?
Proverbial hallway. It's a place of uncertainty where people go through things in their life, and it's often a segue into anticipated revelation, right? They're anticipating something on the other side of this hallway. So we pass through several hallways in our life that introduce us to new skills and ways of thinking that ultimately reveal a new sense of self. Your story, how has your craft helped you get through a particular hallway in your life where you were uncertain about what was on the other side or what you would encounter through the hallway, but you used your gift to continue to press through?
I believe that everyone was created with a gift. And it's not until we tap into that gift that we really begin to live. Some people know what the gift is and they indulge in it often, knowingly and sometimes unknowingly that is what they were created to do. With that gift, they find peace, they find solitude, they find themselves. Everyone that was created as a canvas, something that an artist can paint upon. My name is April O'GARRO, and I am a cosmetologist of 35 years.
How has cosmetology or doing hair or your love for making people feel beautiful carried you through a really difficult time?
Being a cosmetologist has given me so many opportunities. There is nothing like a genuine smile on someone's face when they look in the mirror and they love what they see. A lot of times people are judged by how they look. Social media has put people in a place to make them look at themselves and judge whether or not they fit the bill. As a cosmetologist, I feel like everyone is a fresh canvas. And like an artist who paints, choosing, when you look at that canvas, you choose the colors, you choose textures, you choose scenery, and you look at that canvas, and that canvas becomes a potential work of art. I started out in cosmetology many years ago, making people look good. So the makeup, the nails, the hair, not really understanding why I liked it, just I liked what feeling came from that. Went to cosmetology school, didn't even really know, how I got there and what I wanted or what I aspired to be from doing that. I just knew that I had to make the craft or the gift that I love doing legitimate. Fast forward, moving from California, which is where I started cosmetology school, didn't finish, but moved to Virginia. When I moved to Virginia, I started back up, finished the hours that needed to be done, and life happens. Things happen. You have children, and you buy a home, and you've got bills, and all of these things were coming up, but I kept feeling the pull towards making people beautiful. And so one day here in Virginia, after becoming licensed, I found a salon that had been abandoned. There was a number in the window, and I had this whole ideal of this could be a place where people could come in one way and go out another. I had not gone to college to gain any kind of knowledge as it pertains to how to own a business, what to do, none of that. I just had a dream. I just had a dream and a desire to make people feel good. And that was the driving force.
Was there ever a point in your life where you didn't feel good about yourself and it helped pull you out of a dark space?
Yeah. I went through a lot of things personally, as a mom, as a wife, a divorce, a single parenthood, not having enough, and all of those things that kind of created a dark space for me. And oftentimes you look at something like that and you say, I don't really have time for other people. I don't really have time to make people feel good because I'm too busy, trying to do me, trying to hold it down, trying to make certain that my needs are met, my children's needs are met. And so a lot of times you'll find yourself, I don't have time. It's kind of sort of like the concept when you're on the airplane, they say if the aircraft should lose oxygen, to secure your own mask first. And that was always in the forefront of my mind. However, I kept being pulled to wanting to make others feel good based on me not feeling so good myself.
And when you talk about your passion carving a way for you through this proverbial hallway, can you talk about the provisions that came from you following your passion?
And going down the path to pursue what made me feel good. Again, I talked about, some of the challenges that I had as a young Black woman and looking for the how, the where, the when. It wasn't the what, but it was the how, it was the where and the when. I knew that I had to keep driving. I knew that I had to keep going, and to keep going meant to continue to make other women feel good. So as I mentioned earlier, I got through cosmetology school. I became licensed. I looked in the window of this abandoned salon and it had a number there. I had no money. I had bad credit. There were so many other things that comes with just not having enough and just trying to make it on your own. But there was a gift, there was a drive on the inside of me that I knew I had to satisfy. So I called the number on the window. And for the longest, we kept playing phone tag, trying to talk to somebody who could give me information about this salon. I looked in the salon and it was amazing to me because in the salon, from what I could see, it was totally abandoned, but there was nothing that was taken from the person that left. So in other words, there were dryer chairs, there were salon stations, there was a receptionist desk, there were wash bowls and hair washing chairs. There was a washer, there was a dryer. And it was just, I just lit up because before I got that place, I was doing hair and doing services in my own kitchen. I get the children up in the morning, we'd have McDonald's for breakfast and off they'd have to go and out of the kitchen because my clients were lined up and ready to go. I was relentless in making each one of my clients feel better than they did when they came. So finally, I got a call back from the salon owner and they asked me all these questions. How do you plan to finance it? And before I knew it, out came out of my mouth, I have the money. I just told you a couple seconds ago, I had 2 nickels, didn't even have 2 nickels to rub together. But somehow by faith, in my heart of hearts, even though I didn't have tangible riches, I knew that I had something that was worth more than gold. Finally, they came down. Well, they didn't come down yet. They were asking me when could they come down. So we were again back and forth. They couldn't really get to me, so they FedExed me the keys. Now, I knew that this was a miracle in the making because who sends keys to someone that they haven't even met before? I got the keys. I went into the salon. I looked it over, and there again, a canvas ready upon which I could paint my own ideals and make it welcoming for my guests. So went in, again, didn't have the money, didn't have the wherewithal, didn't have the means, but got a bunch of friends together. And they said, hey, together we can do this and we can help make it happen. Somewhere, somehow, the money came. I'm not gonna say somewhere, somehow, God gave me the money. The day before that money was due, it dropped in my lap, literally, and I know it was God. And I know it was him because what I wanted to do in my heart was not for selfish gain. All along, it was for people to feel good. It didn't matter that I couldn't pay my own rent? Can I hold it down where I am to have people come in and out and change their life merely by changing their look, turning them around and having them look in the mirror and look different than how they came? And it wasn't just a look that was on their physical face, but there was a change that occurred on the inside, just from encouraging and telling other people what I wanted to hear. You're going to make it. So the hair salon, 1/10 Hair Salon, was the biggest provision that came from my gift. It came from me pushing. It came from me making up my mind that, this could happen and it would happen, not looking at the physical. And we talk about the proverbial hallway, a hallway that leads to a place. Sometimes we're coming down a hallway and we have no idea what the next room is going to be. Sometimes hallways have doors that you have to push open. Sometimes hallways have doorknobs or locks that you have to unlock. But the hallway is a place that sometimes you're either going to pause in the hallway and think maybe you should go back, because going backwards, what's on the other end of that hallway because you just came from that space, but you don't know what's going to be at the end of the hallway. Only you can determine that. And yes, there were many locks. I didn't have the money. I didn't have what I needed. I was a single mom with 3 children, and I didn't have provision for my own personal life. But I made up in my mind that if when I got to the end of this hallway, there was a lock on the door, somehow, some way, I was going to have the key. And so 1/10 Hair Salon was the space worth fighting for. The hallway that led me to that space was worth fighting for. At one point in time, I had over 17 stylists and barbers. In 6 months, I had to knock down the wall and adjacent a barbershop to the salon. I had nail technicians, and it just seemed like God had smiled on my unselfishness at that point and helped me to see the gift that He had given me, but not to hoard that gift, but to spread it out to others. The best advice that I would give to a lost artist would be, never stop doing what you love. The feeling that you get from doing what you love is an indication of what God put in you to make it happen for you.